1985 was supposed to be one of the biggest years in rock history, but some of the most famous bands released albums fans still try to forget.
Linen, perfume on my wrist, and the full moon that
We're talking huge names, stadium bands, rock legends, and somehow the music shocked fans for the wrong reasons because these albums didn't just flop.
Say you don't know me, I recognize my face.
Some of them changed the future of rock music forever, and not in a good way. Today we're counting down the 10 worst rock albums of 1985 and why they're so bad, and by the end, the number one pick might surprise you the most. Number 10, Heart, Heart.
in linen, perfume on my wrist, and the full
Imagine walking into a record shop in 1985. Neon lights glowing, big hair everywhere, synths blasting from every speaker.
weaker in my eyesight, a candle in
You pick up the new Heart album expecting loud guitars and wild rock energy. Then the music starts and something feels different. Cleaner, shinier, safer.
Is it cloak and dagger?
This album was released in 1985 on Capitol Records, produced by Ron Nevison during the peak of the glossy 80s rock era. Instead of writing most of their own songs like before, the band recorded tracks written by outside songwriters.
No phone, falling from my leg.
The lyrics focus on love, heartbreak, and big emotional power ballads, perfect for radio and MTV. The album became a huge commercial success and produced massive hits like These Dreams
There's something out there I can't resist.
and What About Love. But many longtime fans felt the band's raw rock spirit was fading.
Dreams go on when I close my eyes.
Then, fun fact, this was the first Heart album where the Wilson sisters had less control over songwriting. The label pushed for a more radio-friendly sound to revive the band's commercial success.
These dreams go on when I close my eyes.
Why it's forgotten / underrated? Here's the painful truth. The album sold millions, but many classic rock fans felt Heart lost their identity chasing the 80s pop rock sound.
Further on away. There's some
It didn't feel like the same band that made Barracuda. It felt like a new, polished version made for MTV. For many fans, this album marked the moment Heart changed forever.
The sweetest song is silence.
And the next album on this list, the shift from rock to pop, gets even more shocking. Number 9, Jefferson Starship, knee-deep in the hoopla.
Too many runaways, eating up the night.
Imagine a rock fan in 1985 walking into a record shop, leather jacket, long hair, posters of 70s rock legends on the wall. They take this album home expecting guitars, rebellion, and attitude, but instead they hear shiny synths and radio pop. The room suddenly feels confusing. This album dropped in 1985 on Grunt/RCA Records, produced by Peter Wolf. It featured the massive hit, We Built This City.
The dance here, someone sold the stage.
The lyrics talked about protecting rock music and the music scene, but the sound felt more like glossy pop than rock rebellion.
The stage, they call us irresponsible.
The album actually sold very well and reached the top 10 on the Billboard charts, but many rock fans felt shocked and betrayed because the band's psychedelic rock roots felt completely gone.
It's just another Sunday in a tired.
One fun fact, the song We Built This City has been voted one of the most hated songs in rock history in multiple polls. Yes, a huge hit that fans love to hate.
We built this city on rock and roll.
Why it's forgotten/underrated, this album faded from serious rock conversations because fans saw it as the moment the band fully left rock behind and entered corporate pop territory.
We built this city on rock and roll. Built this city.
To many listeners, this record became the symbol of 80s overproduction and radio-safe songwriting, and the next album on this list shows another band chasing the 80s sound, with even worse results. Number 8, ZZ Top, Afterburner. Picture turning on the radio late at night, neon lights outside, a fast car in your mind. The beat starts, but something feels strange. The groove is shiny, smooth, almost too perfect. You keep waiting for the dirty blues guitar, but it never really comes. Afterburner was released in 1985 on Warner Brothers Records and produced by Bill Ham. It came right after the massive success of Eliminator, which made ZZ Top MTV superstars. This album leaned even harder into synths, drum machines, and electronic sounds. Songs like Sleeping Bag and Stages were about love, nightlife, and fast living. The album sold millions and had big chart success, but many longtime fans felt the band moved too far from their Texas blues rock roots. Fun fact, the band barely played together in the same room for parts of this album. And much of the music was built piece by piece in the studio using technology which was very new for rock bands at the time. Why it's forgotten/underrated. This album didn't fail because it was unpopular. It faded because fans felt the soul of the band was missing. The gritty blues sound that made ZZ Top special. Felt buried under shiny 80s production. For many rock lovers, this record feels like the moment the band became more machine. Then band. And the next album on this list shows another famous band chasing trends and losing their magic in the process. Number 7, Billy Idol, Whiplash, Smile.
If I didn't, darling, you see, I'm so sorry.
Picture a teenager in 1985 rushing home with a brand new cassette, posters on the wall, stereo turned all the way up. You expect danger, you expect attitude. You expect the rebel from Rebel Yell to kick the door open again, but instead the sound feels shiny, safe, and strangely calm. Something feels different right away. This album dropped in 1986, recorded in 1985, and was produced by Keith Forsey, Billy Idol's longtime partner in the studio. It came out through Chrysalis Records during the peak of MTV Rock. The lyrics still talked about love, nightlife, and attitude, but the production was huge and polished. Big drums, bright guitars, lots of studio shine. The album had hits like To Be a Lover and Sweet 16, and it sold well thanks to MTV. But fans who loved the raw energy of Rebel Yell felt the edge was fading. Fun fact, Billy Idol suffered a serious motorcycle accident shortly after this era, which changed his image and slowed his momentum. Many fans see this album as the last moment before his career shifted. Why it's forgotten / underrated. This album is not terrible music, but it felt like Billy Idol was chasing radio success instead of danger. Fans wanted rebellion, they got polish. Compared to his earlier work, this album slowly faded from conversations. It lives in the shadow of Rebel Yell. For many rock fans, this is where the rebel started losing his bite. And the next album on this list shows what happens when an entire band tries to chase trends at the same time. Number 6, Loverboy, lovin' every minute of it. Picture a teenager in 1985 saving money to buy this album. The band was everywhere: radio, MTV, posters on bedroom walls. You rush home, put the cassette in, press play.
I got fun. You want some? I'm ever ready.
And wait for the big arena rock magic, but instead of fireworks, the music feels safe, smooth, too clean, like rock music wearing a business suit.
Oh, you want me to come?
This album came out in 1985 on Columbia Records, produced by Tom Allom, who worked with Judas Priest. Expectations were huge because Loverboy had massive success in the early 80s.
You want some? I'm ever ready. Dr. Love. Whoa.
The lyrics focused on fun, love, partying, and living the good life. Classic arena rock themes. The title track became a big hit and got heavy MTV play, so the album sold well.
Turn and dial all the way. Shoot me like a rocket.
But many rock fans felt the band was repeating the same formula instead of growing or taking risks. Now, fun fact, Bryan Adams helped write the title track. Yes, the same Bryan Adams who ruled the radio in the 80s. That explains why the song sounds more like polished pop rock than hungry arena rock. Why it's forgotten / underrated. The album didn't fail because it was terrible. It faded because it felt predictable. Rock music was changing fast in the mid-80s, and fans wanted danger, attitude, and fresh energy.
Turn and dial all the way. Shoot me like a rocket in the sky.
Instead, this record sounded like a band copying their old success. Real heads remember the hits, but rarely the album. And the next album on this list, the disappointment gets even louder. Number 5, Alice Cooper, Constrictor. Picture a teenager in 1985 walking into a record shop. Posters of metal bands everywhere, leather jackets, big hair, loud guitars.
You're swimming with your girl out in Lover.
You grab the new Alice Cooper album hoping for dark theater, creepy stories, and shock rock magic. But something feels different the moment the music starts. Alice Cooper released Constrictor as a comeback album during the rise of glam metal and MTV rock.
He's the man behind the mask.
It came out on MCA Records and was produced by Beau Hill, known for working with glam metal bands like Rat. The lyrics lean into horror themes, street violence, and tough guy rock stories. But instead of sounding dangerous and theatrical, the album followed the shiny glam metal sound that was everywhere in the mid-80s. The album charted modestly and gave Alice some MTV exposure again.
You're swimming with your girl out in Lover.
But many longtime fans felt the music sounded like he was chasing trends instead of leading them. Fun fact, the song He's Back, the man behind the mask, became famous because it was used in the Friday the 13th Part 6 movie. which actually helped the album stay remembered more than the music itself. Why it's forgotten / underrated older fans loved Alice Cooper for being weird, theatrical, and unpredictable. This album felt safer and more polished, like he was trying to fit into the glam metal crowd instead of scaring it. It wasn't terrible, but it didn't feel like the Alice Cooper fans grew up with. Real heads remember the shock, not the shine. And the next album on this list shows what happens when success turns into repetition. Number 4, Quiet Riot, QR3. Imagine walking into a record shop in 1985, posters of loud metal bands on the wall, leather jackets, big hair, big expectations. You remember how Metal Health sounded? Loud, wild, dangerous. You expect that same energy. You press play, and something feels different. Quiet Riot released QR3 in 1985 on Pasha Records, produced by Spencer Proffer, the same producer who helped make their earlier hits explode. The album leaned more into keyboards, polished production, and radio-friendly hooks. Instead of rebellion and raw metal energy, many songs focused on safer themes like love, relationships, and mainstream rock life. After the massive success of Metal Health, expectations were huge, but this album didn't hit the same way. It charted far lower and quickly faded compared to the band's earlier success.
With no guilt or shame, it's accepted at your case.
Now, fun fact, the band originally hoped this album would prove they could grow and stay popular long term. Instead, many fans saw it as the moment the magic started slipping away.
Aging, nothing stays the same. For this shoebox generation.
Why it's forgotten / underrated. The biggest problem was timing. Glam metal was exploding and new bands were louder, heavier, and hungrier. Quiet Riot suddenly felt softer and less exciting.
They are the strong that survive the wild and the dark.
Fans didn't hate the band. They just moved on. The moment passed, the wave moved forward. This album became a quiet turning point that many fans rarely revisit.
Sun never sets, souls on the run, the wild and the dark.
And the next album on this list shows what happens when a rock legend tries to chase a trend instead of leading it. Number 3, Chicago 17.
Had no idea how much I care.
Imagine walking into a record shop in 1985, bright lights, posters on the wall, you grab the new Chicago album, excited for big horns and strong rock energy, you rush home, drop the needle, and instead of punchy rock, you hear shiny keyboards and soft love songs filling the room. This album was released in 1984 but ruled the airwaves through 1985. It was produced by David Foster, the king of glossy 80s pop production.
I'm still trying to stay.
Released on Warner Brothers Records, it leaned heavily into power ballads and soft rock. Songs like You're the Inspiration and Hard Habit to Break were about love, heartbreak, and emotional relationships.
No, I can't blame you for running to you.
The album was a huge commercial success, selling millions of copies and dominating radio. But many rock fans felt the band had moved far away from the bold horn-driven rock sound that made them famous in the career. Yes, the album many rock fans disliked the most became their biggest commercial win. Why it's forgotten / underrated, for casual listeners, the album still lives through its ballads. But for rock fans, it marked the moment Chicago fully left rock behind and became a soft. Fans, this record felt like the end of an era. The horns were quiet, the edge was gone, the rebellion had faded. And the next album on this list shows what happens when a reunion creates huge expectations but delivers something much safer. Number 2, Deep Purple, Perfect Strangers. Imagine standing in a record shop in 1985, posters on the wall, rock fans whispering, excited. Deep Purple is back together, the legendary lineup, the heroes have returned, you rush home. Put the record on and wait for the explosion, but the fire never fully arrives. This album came out in 1984/85 during the huge reunion of the classic Deep Purple Mark II lineup. It was released by Polydor Records and produced by Roger Glover. Fans expected the wild energy of the 70s classics like Machine Head. The lyrics talk about power, mystery, and big rock themes, but the sound felt cleaner and safer than before. The album actually sold very well and charted around the world, but many longtime fans felt the magic and danger of the old band was missing. Fun fact, the band members had not played together in years, and during recording, they were still learning how to work together again. Some fans say you can hear that tension in the music. Why it's forgotten/underrated, this album wasn't truly terrible. The real problem was expectations. Fans wanted a roaring comeback, but got a careful reunion instead. It sounded like a band trying not to make mistakes instead of a band ready to break the rules. Real heads keep this one like a secret key. And the next album on this list shows what happens when a band chases trends instead of their own sound. Number 1, The Clash Cut the Crap, 1985.
Underworld, come out of the cupboard, you boys and girls.
If you loved rock in the 70s, The Clash felt bulletproof. Not just a band, a warning siren. Then Cut the Crap lands on November 4th, 1985, recorded earlier that year at Weriton Studios in Germany.
Forget it, brother, you can go it alone. London calling.
And from the first listen, you can feel it. This is not a band charging forward. This is a band broken, trying to stand up straight. Here's the controversy, and I'll say it carefully because there are different perspectives.
Stuck on him, the wheat is going through a nuclear error. But I have no fear.
By this point, Mick Jones and Topper Headon were out, replaced by new players, and the album's producer credit says Jose Unidos, which was a pseudonym for manager Bernard Rhodes.
I live by the river.
The sources even describe a struggle for control between Rhodes and Joe Strummer during sessions. So what do you hear on the record? What a lot of fans say, you hear a clash, not the band, but an actual fight over what the Clash should be.
I live by the river.
That's why the reputation stuck. Because when a legendary band ends, people want a final statement. This felt like a final argument. And the saddest part? There's still real emotion inside it. A track like This Is England is often mentioned as the song where you can still feel Strummer's heart trying to break through. So yeah, if you call this the worst rock album of 1985, I won't fight you because it's not just disappointing, it's the sound of an era closing the door.